One common mistake, it's very common with people who are representing themselves, is that if they get past the hurdle of preparing the paperwork and filing the paperwork with the court, sometimes they don't realize or don't know that they often need to serve the paperwork on the other party, which entails contacting a marshal and getting the marshal to make service, giving the marshal enough information to find the person and make service. And then there is something that's returned from the marshal saying they had service, which then needs to be filed with the court. It's a whole process. And even though the courts, oftentimes will give you a list of marshals and, some instructions, it's apparently not clear to a lot of people what they're supposed to do, or that they even need to follow up with the marshal after they give the paperwork to the marshal. So what often happens is I'm in court and people are waiting because they're there on the day that the court told them to be there, and the other party is not there. And when their case gets called, they ask where the other party is and they say it's not there. And the first thing the judge does is look to see, was the party served? And if there's no return service in the court file, then there's absolutely nothing that the court can do about it except say that you have to start all over again, and then we'll give you a new date because they didn't follow the correct procedure. So not only is the case not being heard that day, but the poor person has probably taken off from work and gotten through all the trouble of getting there, maybe, having their kids watched by somebody else, all for nothing. So it's just a lot of time and effort wasted. It's really sad to see. Could have been avoided if they were just given correct information, or at least were made to understand the information. Again, it's not the clerk's job at the court to make sure you understand and to make sure you follow up. They just give you the paperwork and assume that you either read it or get the information that you need. For quite a few years now, Connecticut has allowed something called partial representation or limited scope representation. We call it a-la-carte representation. So you can hire an attorney if you can't afford it for your whole case. You can hire an attorney for bits and pieces of your cases where you think you might need the most help. We've always done free phone consultations. We've always wanted to make ourselves available for people just to get procedural information, price information, and just to, determine whether or not they'd even think about using us or want to use us.